Testing, testing, testing. Hold on a second. Let me make sure this is working properly. I should be live. Interesting. Hopefully everyone is doing great. I'm trying to figure out why it is not showing up on my end that I am live. I just want to make sure that we're good on that end. Welcome to the Crypto Angel channel. Okay, we're good. So this is going to be a quicker stream. I'll be back live again on Monday at some point. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I'll be live Monday, but again, it'll be a much earlier stream, probably at like 3 p.m. Central Time. But let's look at Bitcoin, do a quick market update. This is going to be like a 15-minute stream. Then my longer stream will have to be on Monday. Like maybe that'll be 30 to 45 minutes to make up for this shorter stream. But I just want to do a quick market update on what's going on in the market. And then we'll go from there. So, if you guys are new, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe. It does help support the channel. I do appreciate it. Right now, let's look at the Crypto Fear Greed Index. We are getting started about 5 minutes early. We are currently sitting in greed at 71. Until we get it, above 90, I don't really think about selling any of my short-term Bitcoin that I do hold. 70% of whatever Bitcoin I'm buying, I do hold long-term. So, that is something to take note of. This is not financial advice, as always. If you guys would like to join the trading group, click the right-hand watermark in the right-hand corner of my YouTube channel, or you can join my Patreon through TikTok. Let's look at Bitcoin right now. It is kind of struggling, so I do think we should talk about it. So on the 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, we have this, I would say at this point, this is a rising wedge that is starting to break to the downside. I see a lot of times rising wedges make this wedge, then they come down, then they come back up, makes it look like it's going to break out, but then it, just makes a rounded top. That's not what we want to see. If we really cannot break 105K, that's bearish to me, and I'd be looking for more downside. If we do not get above 105K, I would be looking for the next support to be $100,800. Hence why I titled the video, Can Bitcoin Hold Support at $100,800? If you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know. I do want to look at Bookmap. Bookmap really still shows a lot of liquidity on the weekly time frame at 110,000. You have a lot of liquidity also at 98K and a little bit at 100K. On the right side is the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, you have a lot of liquidity a little bit lower, 102,250, and some at 103,000, which is basically where we are right now. So it looks like, based on Bookmap, we go down. Also, liquidity does Bookmap has liquidity also at 104 up here, but it's starting to look more bearish than bullish according to the charts. So the bulls must break 105,000. If we cannot do that, I would still be looking for more downside. I did forget to get the music going, so let me do that really quickly. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking for. We must break 105,000. If we can't do that, then to me, there's no reason to look for anything but more downside on Bitcoin. The next support is 100,800. If you lose that, I'm looking for 99.9, which is right below it. And then again to the upside, you have resistance at 105. Or 104.5, technically, it's not 105, 104.5, and then above that, you have more resistance at 106 that we couldn't break a few days ago. So those are levels I'd watch. I would just have this bias, if this, then that. If we cannot break 104,500, then I'd be looking for $100,800 on Bitcoin. Because right now, on the 4-hour time frame, 100,800 would still be a higher low. But if you look at the smaller time frames, we have started a downtrend. We've made lower highs, lower lows. And anytime you lose a 200-day moving average on the 15-minute time frame, then usually that happens on the half-hour time frame, which we've lost a 200 on the half-hour. Then it happens on the 1 hour. The 1 hour did lose a 200-day moving average for Bitcoin. That's bearish. Then the 2 hour is the next stop. So I really would not be surprised at all if Bitcoin does not go down to 100K. Again, there's support at 100,800. But I'd be honestly, if I had to say anything, I'm more bearish than bullish short term. We'll see what happens. But I would be looking for 100K Bitcoin sooner than later. I think you could get some bounce at 100,800. But I think overall, it's most likely we see 100K before we get a new all-time high. And that's just my bias. It looks like we're making lower highs and lower lows, even on the 1 hour time frame. And honestly, the 2 hour time frame is the same thing. That's a lower high in the 2 hour at 104.5. So again, that's pretty strong resistance. I would say we're pretty much range bound though right now between 100,800 and 104.5. So those are the levels you must break to be bullish or bearish. And if you don't break 104.5, I would be looking for 100K Bitcoin, and it's that simple. If you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know. I still believe that I just looked at Anchor Bitcoin. It looks awful. So Anchor looks like to me like it's in a bear market. But I still believe Ethereum is going to start to outperform Bitcoin, or will continue to outperform Bitcoin over the next few days and weeks. We'll see what happens. But that's still what I believe based on the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. It is struggling. I'm still in that long on Ethereum, but my stop's at break even on that. So we'll see what happens. But that is my buy. I believe that Ethereum is going to start to outperform Bitcoin, and I guess I'll leave it at that. If you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know. Again, this is going to be a quicker stream. So you see right here, Ethereum was in the same wedge. It's a little bit different, but Ethereum was in the same rising wedge that Bitcoin was in, and Ethereum broke to the upside. And when that happened, you didn't hit the measure move, but you didn't hit the measure move. You did break up, though, out of that rising wedge. You didn't hit the full measure move, but it did break up. So we'll see what happens. I'm sorry, this is an Ethereum Bitcoin chart, so this is an Ethereum. But ETH Bitcoin did break out to the upside. I would still be looking for more upside on ETH Bitcoin as long as you can hold 2 cents. It's still that 2 cent level that is really support for ETH Bitcoin. If we stay above 2 cents on that, I still believe Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin over the next few days and weeks. I appreciate the likes on TikTok. Thank you for that. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We are going live earlier than normal. On Monday, it's going to be earlier than normal as well. If you're just joining, I'm going to be going live Monday, probably at 3 p.m. Central Time. I'll let you guys know for sure in the Telegram, but that's kind of what I anticipate will be happening. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. It looks kind of more bearish than bullish. And Ethereum, let me go over to Ethereum. Yeah, I mean, I would say Ethereum is if Ethereum can hold 2465 will be good. If you lose 2465, then Ethereum is also bearish to me on the 4-hour time frame. If you lose 2465, I would be looking for $2,000 on Ethereum. So the bulls must hold 2465 on Ethereum. We'll see if we can do that. But that's kind of what I see going on for Ethereum. So anyways, if you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll look at them. Otherwise, that's kind of what we got going on. I will say an altcoin that I bought more of yesterday, which it's not looking fantastic, but I did buy more of it. I bought more AMP. The 4-hour time frame is slightly above the 200-day moving average. This is just a long-term thing. I would eventually like to swing this into Bitcoin, but I bought more AMP because you're above the 200-day moving average on the 4-hour time frame. And if we can get some movement up here on the stock RSI will be good. So RSI was oversold yesterday. RSI kind of struggling right now, but also I could see this in a falling wedge. So there's 3 reasons to be bullish on AMP right now, although if Bitcoin dumps, this is likely to dump as well. And this is not something I know long term, but this is something I would like to. If this gets up to 6 tenths of a penny or 0.006, I will be selling this. I've held this for 6 months. It's not doing great. I would like to just get out of this in slight profits, and I'll be happy. But I did buy more AMP because I could see it breaking out in a falling wedge above the 200-day moving average on the 4-hour time frame. And you're above support at 0.004. If you lose 0.004, then never mind, game over, and then you're likely to go back down to probably the lows at 0.003 on AMP. But again, that's what I did. I bought nothing crazy, a few $100 more of this. It's a small position, but that's what I did yesterday. So we'll see if I'm right or wrong. AMP kind of sucks in general. Long macro term looks bad, but AMP on the 4-hour, I could see a breakout coming. But the RSI is kind of lackluster, so we will see what happens. 8-hour looks interesting to me. The 6-hour time frame looks kind of interesting, but I don't love any of these time frames. So we'll see. I mean, the 3-day time frame, that's bearish. That's a lower high on the 3-day, and you overbought on the RSI. So the 3-day time frame on AMP looks bearish. And the weekly has a little more room to go, so we'll see what happens. But I did take a long in the 4-hour, and we'll see what happens based off that. Otherwise, if you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know in the comment section below, and we will see what's going on. But that is an altcoin I did buy yesterday. That's not financial advice. That's just what I'm telling you that I did. If you guys would like to join the trading group, click the Patreon link in my TikTok bio. But anyways, that's what I see going on. I see a possible pump for AMP. I will say the 4-hour RSI looks kind of sketchy to me. So we'll see what happens. I would say there's like a 50-50 chance this breaks out. Usually it's a 68% chance to break out of a falling wedge, but based on the fact that the RSI looks so lackluster on all these time frames, I'm not convinced it's going to break out. It's a long I took. We'll see what happens. If you break 0.004, I might bail. We'll see. But it's still a long-term position. Unfortunately, it just is. I don't really want to sell it for a loss if I don't have to. It's not a huge position size anyway. But so that's AMP in a nutshell. Another thing we can look at is Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance right now, to me, is in a rising wedge. These break down 70% of the time about, and now the question is Bitcoin dominance going to get rejected off the 4-hour, 200-day moving average? If that does happen, altcoins could really get a move up here compared to Bitcoin. I'm not saying it's altcoin season, but if Bitcoin dominance cannot break the 4-hour 200 at 64%, then that could be a sign for altcoins to get a little bit of a boost compared to Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes down 1%, maybe altcoins, stay stable or go up a few percent. I'm not saying it's altcoin season by any means. I'm just saying altcoins could start to outperform Bitcoin. Ethereum's outperforming Bitcoin over the last few weeks, so maybe that will eventually bleed into altcoins. I believe it will at some point. The question is it going to happen right now? If we get rejected off the 4-hour 200, that could honestly happen. So I would be watching for, I would be watching Bitcoin dominance here. If we break 64%, that means Bitcoin is probably going to continue to be dominant in the market. If we cannot break 64% on Bitcoin dominance, that means altcoins could start to get a rip. Or at least a move to the upside. I'm not going to say they're going to double or triple, but they could get a 10 to 20% move on average. So we'll see what happens. But that's something to watch into next week, is if we can break 64% on Bitcoin dominance. And if you hold a lot of altcoins, you would like to see this chart get rejected and go down, and go back down to the support at 61.8%. If that happens, then again, altcoins could get a nice move up in the next 7 days. So that's just a possibility. If you break 64% to the upside, then obviously altcoins are not going to outperform Bitcoin. So you want to see a rejection there if you hold a lot of alts. If you hold a lot of Bitcoin, you want to see this continue to the upside, because then you need Bitcoin dominance to do good if you hold more Bitcoin than alts. But anyways, that's what I see going on. This could be a possible rejection point off of 64% for Bitcoin dominance. Okay, Aerodome. We can look at Aerodome. I don't know the last time I've looked at Aerodome, so let's go look at Aerodome. And one more thing I do need to watch. Hold on a second. Aerodome. Let me go look at Aerodome. So this is on Coinbase. I don't think this is Aerodome, is it? Maybe it is. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so Aerodome right now on the 4-hour time frame is about to lose a 200-day moving average. That comes in at 59 cents. That's no bueno. If you lose the 4-hour, you're likely to lose the 6-hour. That's coming in at 52 cents. I'd be watching for a dump here on Aerodome. I know the dump has already started, but I'd be looking for a continuation. If you lose the 8-hour, I'd be looking for the 12-hour, then the daily, and so on and so forth. You're already below the daily 200. Are you below the 3-day? You probably are. Are you below the 2-day? The 2-day is below it. I don't think there's any more data than the 2-day, 200-day moving average. I would say this. Aerodome loses the 4-hour 200. You're already below the daily and 2-day to 200-day moving average. I would be pretty much saying, if you lose this 200-day moving average, especially if you lose 55 cents, which is support, I'd be looking for Aerodome also to be considered in a bear market. You don't want to lose these key levels. If I go back to the daily time frame, the daily made a higher high. Now the question is, can the daily make a higher low and hold 5.3? If you lose 5.3, that's not good. If you lose 55 cents, I consider it in a bear market if you get a daily candle close below 55 cents. But that'd be a lower low on the daily if you can't hold 53. I'd be more bearish than bullish on this if you lose a 4-hour 200, currently sitting at 59 cents, which it kind of looks like it could. Like the 3-hour lost it. So really the next step would be the 4-hour 200. I gotta say, Aerodome looks pretty bearish to me. You need to get a bounce here, and you must not lose 59 cents on Aerodome. If you lose 59 cents, I eventually see 55 cents coming. If you lose 55 cents, really the next support is 37 cents on Aerodome. I would not be longing this just yet. I really wouldn't be. I would be waiting for the bounce on the stock RSI and the price. If you get those two things to happen, then you could long. It's not financial advice, but Aerodome looks pretty bad to me. Anchor looks slightly worse, but both of these look pretty bad. Like, just being so for real. This is bearish. Okay? I mean, that's a bear flag, if I've ever seen one. and your measured move takes you probably about to support. That looks like that would basically be support, if not slightly below, at 54 cents as a measured move on Aerodome. So you could even put in an inter short here, a stop above this wick here, stop right here at like 65 cents, and a take profit of 54 cents. Either one would work. But to me, Aerodome looks bearish to me. That's a bear flag. It looks sketchy. That's the same thing as like a rising wedge, but you just invert it. So to me, it looks likely you get the break. Wait, actually, no, it's not. That's a bear flag. I wouldn't say no. That's a bear flag, though. Either way, that's bearish. Aerodome looks like you could get that move down to support at 55 cents. And then from there, if you lose 55, I would say that's a bear market if you can't hold that level. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. I just want to do a quick update on the market. I'll be back live on Monday at 3 p.m. Central Time. Hopefully, you guys, thank you for the likes on YouTube as well. Hopefully, you guys are having a good Saturday. And I will see you guys in the live stream Monday at 3 p.m. Central Time, way earlier than normal. So just remember, 3 p.m. Central Time on Monday. And that will be a much longer stream, like 30 to 45 minutes long. But I just want to give you a quick market update. If Bitcoin stays below 104.5, I would be looking for 100,800 and then 100K on Bitcoin. Bookmap has liquidity to the downside and low to the upside, but overall, Bookmap kind of looks even. But I don't like what I see on the smaller time frames for Bitcoin. So I'd be looking for a move to the downside on Bitcoin over the next few days, especially into market open next week. That's just what I see going on. It just looks sketchy to me, and the market does not look very bullish to me. We'll see what happens. Anything is possible, right? But it looks to me like Bitcoin could get a nasty dump if we can't crack 104.5 in the next few. By Monday market open, if you're not back above 104.5, I'd be looking for 100K Bitcoin sometime next week. That would only be a 3 to 5% move to the downside, but still, that's something to be aware of. If I had to take any position right now on Bitcoin, it would be a bearish one. So, thank you for the likes, Joe Kid. And that's going to kind of wrap it up. A very quick stream. Again, I'll be back live in 2 days, 3 p.m. Central Time on Monday for a much, much longer live stream. I hope you guys have a great night. Appreciate if you guys hit the likes on the way out. Hit the follow or subscribe if you guys are watching on YouTube. And I'll see you guys on Monday, 3 p.m. Central Time for the next live stream. Until then, the trend is your friend until the end. I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers and have a great rest of your Saturday. Adios. For a much, much longer live